Okay, so we talked about the Sonic movie, and it didn't look great. Mostly it was the model for Sonic that a lot of people weren't very excited about, and that's something that I think a lot of people uh, got behind, was that you can make Sonic look better. It doesn't have to look this way. There were issues with the eyes, the teeth, the body shape, everything just didn't look right. Otherwise, though, like Jim Carrey looked like he was going to be awesome in the movie so far. I mean, for what we've seen, it's been, people making jokes about how he's going to be holding up the movie, essentially carrying it on his back even. And yeah, I mean, that's probably what's going to happen either way, mostly because Sonic, of course, is CGI with a voice actor, and it seems like Jim Carrey is going to be in a good chunk of the movie as Eggman or Dr. Robotnik. So I do think he's going to do really well there. But if Sonic looked better, then I do think people would be really excited for the Sonic movie. That's like the one thing that's holding a lot of people back. And the criticism hit hard. People were all over this thing, right? I haven't talked about it here because it did look that bad. And what's interesting about this situation is this is one of those times where it seems like, yes, the criticism has actually done something. A lot of people weren't too sure at times as well when it comes to criticizing something heavily like this, because it doesn't seem like anything would change, or it's, people are bringing down the movie and everything. But people genuinely want the Sonic movie, I think, to be good. I mean, we want a good video game adaptation movie. We do, because it's the batting average for that's not very good. We'll say that. Not a lot of good video game movies. Resident Evil, maybe? Certainly not Final Fantasy or that Mario movie from back in the day or anything. It's more of a joke when you try to take a video game and move it over into the movie scene. Ratchet and Clank, I think, actually did all right, though. Anyway, looking at this is from Jeff Fowler. Now, I wasn't 100% sure on this tweet at first, because I looked at it and I said, wow, okay, this account it's one, a lot of times, if it is somebody in this kind of position, they will get verified by Twitter, because, of course, anyone can make a Twitter handle and then name it Jeff Fowler or whatnot. But they say, thank you for the support and the criticism. The message is loud and clear. You aren't happy with the design and you want changes. It's going to happen. Everyone at Paramount and Sega are fully committed to making this character the best he can be. And then they do hashtag Sonic movie and hashtag gotta fix fast. So I don't know if the focus groups just mess with them or something. I'm not sure, because we all talked about, of course, what our concerns when we saw the silhouette of Sonic back when they did the whole movie poster. And at that point, they must have really thought that showing Sonic the way that he looked in the trailer was going to relieve everyone. And it actually made things worse, because at that point, we couldn't believe what we were seeing. It just didn't look right. So apparently they're going to fix this thing. And this movie is out, I believe, in November? It's out at the end of this year. So this thing is out in 5 or 6 months or something. Apparently they're going to change Sonic that fast. And I have to admit, I'm a bit skeptical about how much they can actually do when kind of the time's ticking here. I mean, it's not like they're going to be working on it a week before it's in theaters. There's a lot of stuff that has to go down for logistics and getting the movie out to theaters and everything. So I am a bit concerned on that end. But what's interesting about this situation, for everyone who's asking how they can make it happen, there are a lot of people on Twitter who actually made it happen. Okay, so they kind of made it happen. They took frames and they fixed Sonic. Of course, you also need to go around and make it so he works in different scenes and in motion and everything. It's not like you just take a picture and you Photoshop it and the movie's fixed. It's not that easy. So there is going to have to be some cutbacks probably, and there's only going to be so much they can do. But when you start seeing people fix it essentially just in their spare time for fun, kind of work around it a bit. Here's one from Larry Bundy Jr. that, yeah, it looks better. I think the eyes are still a little funky on it, right? But I do think it looks better. The teeth still, obviously, but it still looks a bit better. And then we have one here from Edward Pun, and this just looks a lot better, right? I think they made the legs skinnier, right? It looks a lot more like Sonic's body type when we look at him in any of the games or any of the cartoons even. Progressive did an entire commercial, and theirs looked way better than Sonic, by a mile. And I know they still want to keep it kind of live action-y, obviously. It is CGI, but they're still trying to bring him into the real world. just the proportions of the body, I think, were the biggest problem. And that's shown heavily here with Edward, for example, who just made him shorter, made his body type shorter, brought it all down, made his head a bit bigger. And there you go. You have what looks a lot more like Sonic. Like, I think if they showed up with that, the bigger eyes and everything, I think at that point people would say, okay, that at least looks like Sonic. I'm going to give this movie a bit of a chance here. And then we get to Aaron, who did a phenomenal job with that scene where, of course, Sonic has his teeth out and he's seemingly caught and he does the whole, I think, meow thing and everything. But this was actually a pretty cool image. It's done as like a painting. It wouldn't look exactly like that, obviously, because they would want to make it a bit more live actiony. But you can just see how different Sonic looks between them. It is like ridiculously different if you really look at how Sonic comes off here in this image. So I do think they can fix it, but I do also question if they have enough time. They seem to think they do. They seem to say we got to fix it fast. Got to fix it fast. I do question if they can get it to the deadline. I don't think they're going to delay the movie. Some people have brought that up. I don't think that's an option. I think at this point the marketing's done. I think they have all of their stuff in place. And I just wonder if it's going to end up looking completely right in post when it's all done. And I also wonder how much crunch is going to be needed to make this happen. So interesting stuff here. It does show, all right, it does show that, yes, ladies and gentlemen, criticizing and pointing out things in movies, in games, and all kinds of stuff does work as long as it is constructive. And I think the fact that so many people took time to actually attempt to fix Sonic or show how they could fix Sonic also helped out here, because it gave them an idea as to what people were looking for and kind of visualize it. So good work to everybody, I guess, who worked on Sonic and attempted to fix him in their free time. And I'm glad that Jeff Fowler and the people behind the movie are doing this. Again, I was a little skeptical of this tweet, but it seemed that several publications and everything, I guess, have at this point been able to lock down that this is the actual Jeff Fowler. And he's also followed from people with Sega and everything. So it seems legit there. Let me know what you guys think about this down below. If there's anything else that really happens from this, like turns out that this isn't actually a thing and they're not going to fix it, I'll let you know. But so far, it seems like they're going to attempt to fix Sonic in a matter of months ahead of the release of the movie. So interesting stuff. Let me know what you guys think about this down below. Make sure you like the video if you enjoyed it, dislike it if not, and I'll see you next time.